Hey guys, Matt here. This is my review of The Longest Walk. This movie is directed by Francis Lawrence, who previously directed The Hunger Games: Catching Fire. And this movie stars Cooper Hoffman, David Johnson, and Mark Hamill. Now, the plot of this movie, based on the novel by Stephen King, The Longest Walk, 50 boys enter this contest known as The Long Walk, where there's one winner and there is no finish line. Now, going into this movie, having seen the trailer, I thought this is a very interesting concept. It's not only going to be a movie set in one location with a certain group of people the entire time, but it also reminded me of The Hunger Games, but a more serious version, almost like Battle Royale, the Korean film. So, I saw the movie, and I can honestly say that I was pleasantly surprised. Now, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I knew that Cooper Hoffman was going to be a standout in this film. He's impressed me so far in Licorice Pizza and Saturday Night Live. And then David Johnson popped up, and I was like, okay, cool. I liked him in Alien Romulus, so it'll be really interesting to see him in this co-starring role. And then you had other characters in this movie that I was familiar with, like Ben Wang from most recently the Karate Kid Legends movie. And there are a couple others that pop up in this movie as well, including Charlie Plummer, Judy Greer, and a kid named Roman Griffin Davis. And so, as I'm watching the movie, I picked up on a couple of things. One, that they never really established the time frame in which this movie takes place, because they do mention the current state of the world is under some sort of military state. So you can't tell if it's in the 50s or the 60s or something more modern, because the technology that we see is only in the vehicles and the cameras that are used to record this contest. Also, there were no women in this contest. So it kind of makes me think that it was maybe the 50s or 60s where, women couldn't exactly do the same things that men could all the time. Now, even though we don't know the year this movie takes place, you could kind of get a feel of the way things are in this world. How things were so militaristic. How all the contestants had these almost like utility belts with a canteen of water in their rations as well. Now, the acting in this movie was really good. Mark Hamill as the evil major, he had a bunch of motivational things to say, and he was one of the driving forces for all these men in this contest. But the fact that we never got to see him remove his sunglasses says something. He was the authoritative figure in this movie. Cooper Hoffman, really good. As the main character, if you will, in this movie, he was great. He was a kid that we started off with, and then in the movie we saw the toll something like this would take on someone who has a history. At the same time, David Johnson as Pete. We kind of get like a Andy Dufresne and Red type of dynamic from Shawshank Redemption with these two characters. He's another co-star in this movie. He's the hopeful one. He's the driving force as well for Cooper Hoffman's Raymond that, motivates him, keeps him going. But also, we get to find out about these kids, their past, and what they're going through, and their personalities through their dialogue. Judy Greer is in this film very briefly as the mother of Raymond. Wow. Emotional. That's the only way I can describe her character in this film. If you don't know the stakes of this kind of contest, 20 minutes into the movie, when the opening title screen pops up, you'll quickly learn them. Now, I explained that this was kind of like the Hunger Games, where even though they don't outright say what's going on in the world, they do explain a couple things, and they do give you context that the world is in some sort of state. Just like the Hunger Games, where we had the different districts fighting for a certain reason, you have this contest, and you have, plus and minuses, you have benefits of the winner getting a wish of whatever they want, and so all of the kids have their own reasons for entering this contest and doing what they do. Now, some things that I noticed about this movie, not necessarily a negative, just little observations, is that aside from there being no women in this contest, the dialogue was a little questionable early on, like including Ben Wang's character. Just every other word out of his mouth was the F word, and a lot of the insults that some of the bad guys or antagonists say just very insulting, almost homophobic. Even some of the lines from the Major talk about a certain body part quite a bit. And I will say that Stephen King, with his writing in his books, one thing he's always done really well is he's really fleshed out the bad guys or the villains or the bullies. And here he does that very well. You know, you have your good characters and you have your bad characters. And then later on in the movie, things become shades of gray where, you know, your good characters have their moments where they lose hope, they lose their temper. You have moments where, you know, characters that you hated at first, you know, you are given more context. Then you're like, okay, maybe this character isn't such a bad guy. But this movie was a lot more emotional than I thought it was going to be, which is good. And it was also a lot more violent. Now, with a contest like this, you know, it's kind of like the Game of Thrones. You win or you die. Now, if you're a fan of the Hunger Games, a situation where a bunch of teenagers have to endure a certain type of contest, but they learn and they mature and they grow as they do it, then I'd recommend this movie. Because of that, I'm going to give The Long Walk an A-. So until next time, guys, see ya.